while you folks were going to retrieve it, I thought I'd address a question which came up concerning motivations for the previously examined tripartite model. What were the research questions or problems that motivated the creation of this hybrid model? There were a number of motivations for creating that hybrid model. Two of the major ones were questions that were brought to us by health scientists involved, and I would note particularly by our health region, our sort of local health region. The first of them, and in fact by others in the Ministry of Health in our province, now that I think about it. At a higher level, people were within our Ministry of Health and at the health region level were very interested in understanding the ways in which upstream interventions, so interventions related to obesity, would ripple through to impact demand for highly expensive care and care processes, things like dialysis and things like demand for transplants. This is particularly of acute concern given our shift in demographics, the growth of sub-areas of our population, such as Aboriginal peoples, who seem really to suffer from certain chronic diseases at higher rates. And there's a real concern about the coming level of demand associated with care services, and they needed to anticipate the level of demand seen for things like dialysis clinics and other elements of capacity that would need to be built. A second issue that brought to us by a VP level person at our health region was actually in trying to explore creative strategies which would combine, on the one hand, cost-saving measures that would focus on efficiency and greater economies in the downstream area, particularly for handling those with diabetic end-stage renal disease. So by saving money there, could they invest upstream in terms of obesity prevention and efforts aimed at preventing pre-diabetics from progressing on to full-blown diabetes? And what would the combined impact of those be? You know, if they pump the money saved back into upstream efforts, what would be the gains compared to undertaking purely a downstream approach or purely an upstream approach? So a lot of interest in this kind of flow through from the earliest stages of life all the way down to the distal end of the care processes. And representation of some of the potential interventions being considered really benefited from having a DES characterization of the situation, because it might deal with resource availability, the flow in associated with things like kidneys from living donors, and potentially the ability to capture among diabetics with end-stage renal disease aspects of family structure was of interest because of the presence of family networks that might be instrumental in providing living donor kidney donations. So capturing some aspects of family context in the form of network structure and so on was something that was also sort of in the background there. So really it was a model that embraced both the far upstream and the far downstream, each with enough specificity to allow for investigation of interventions that lay behind a lot of the desire for that model. Is that helpful? Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so were people able to grab the files off of there? Okay, so I thought I'd recommend opening just a couple of models here. So there's there should be a model that's called, and actually I should close this.